Hello.
Hi, Mordechai. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Healthy Living Live. I'm Chef AJ, and today my guest is Mordechai Wiener. He is a new friend of mine who was introduced to me by a fellow vegan chef, Chef Del Srove, who I've interviewed before, because Mordechai is producing an amazing summit that's going to start on May 6th called Reclaim Your Body Summit. And I'm going to be posting a link so that you can register for that. And I know Mordechai is going to be talking about it. But the reason that I wanted to interview him is because he has an extraordinary story of weight loss, transformation, and hope. So welcome, Mordechai. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Chef AJ.
Well, of course. So we have a lot in common. We're the fat kid growing up. We both had morbidly obese mothers. So what was that like? Tell me a little bit about your journey, because you look great now. I've seen your before pictures. You really did weigh 330 pounds.
Yeah, 330 pounds. I think it was less about the number on the scale for me and more about how shitty I just felt in my body at that point in my life. Growing up in the suburbs of Detroit, I was born almost 11 and a half pounds. My mom weighed over 400 pounds. And we struggled with our weight, from early on, all the way through my childhood. When I was 10 years old, my mom took me with her to Weight Watchers, and my mom didn't really know much about nutrition or food. She would just cook. My mom was an amazing chef. Not the kind of chef that you are, Chef AJ, because you cook all vegan and healthy. My mom loved to cook like traditional foods and lots of baked goods. She was known in the community to serve and bake like the best cakes, cookies, and breads. She actually ended up selling them out of the house when I was a kid. She started this little bakery. That's how good they were. And growing up, I was, always helping her bake and cook and eat. And early on, I struggled in school. And my mom, coming home from school after being bullied and made fun of by kids, my mom would, often cook me my favorite meal and cook me, we would bake together. And that was kind of the way I would deal with my emotions. And I remember from a young age, my mom would, when she was baking and cooking for me, while we were doing it together, she'd always tell me that don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And I think in my mind as an adult now, looking back, I realized that patterns were kind of merged, right? Those patterns in my brain where you feel something, I felt an emotion of trauma or sadness or loneliness, and the idea that cake or cookies were given to me at that point made me feel that when you feel like everything's not okay, you eat cookies and cake. And from a very young age, I therefore struggled with my weight and went on many, many diets. 10 years old with Weight Watchers, my mom. I remember being the only kid in the Weight Watcher meeting room and be feeling really shitty about it. All my friends were outside playing ball on a Sunday afternoon, and we would go to Weight Watchers and hang out and weigh ourselves. And who lost 1 pound? You raise your hand. Who lost 2 pounds? And I remember that as a kid, it was so devastating and so just not enjoyable. And after Weight Watcher meetings, often my mom would go to the grocery store and buy chocolate bars and just eat together in the van. And it was a very confusing time because I didn't really understand what was going on in my body. And then when I was 15, 16 years old, my mom took me to boarding school. And at boarding school, I went on the Atkins diet. So I'm 15, I'm on the Atkins diet. All I'm doing is eating meat and hot dogs and salami. It was gnarly, but I was losing weight and I was feeling great, losing weight and feeling great. And I dropped 80 pounds that year and felt great. But slowly but surely the weight came back on. And this yo-yo dieting just continued for the next 12, 13 years. So I feel like I've been a yo-yo dieter since I was 10. And then, then when I was 26, I was at my rock bottom, and I was, running my company. Was doing really well. I had 100 employees, and I was just completely overwhelmed and consumed by this company that I built. And I remember just feeling really ashamed of the way I felt because I had so many great things going for me. I had all the things that I dreamed of, the car, the house, the life that I thought would bring me the happiness and joy. And one morning I got out of bed and looked in the mirror and I just didn't recognize myself. And I was like, holy shit, how did I get so big? And how did I get so out of control. And I remember just feeling really sad. It's like, is this going to be my life? Like, I'm looking at my mom, who's now close to 500 pounds, thinking to myself, is this going to be my life? Like, this is the frame of reference that I had. And at that point, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to do it different this time. I said, how about if I take the lessons I learned in business? I said, I figured out business, and everyone thought I would not be able to. I was a pretty troubled kid in school, and managed to figure out how to run a successful business and raise money and investors and the whole gamut. But I'm like, what if I took the same lessons of how I figured out business to use it on my body and try to tackle it from that perspective? And I did that. I decided, I started reading books. It was that simple. I thought to myself, how did I figure out business? I read a lot of business books. Let's start reading books about people, not just any diet books, about people who've been successful losing weight and maintaining and keeping it off. And a little while later, a friend introduced me to this book by John Gabriel, The Gabriel Method. I've spoken to you about it, Chef AJ, and I read that book and I was completely blown away, because in John's book, he talks about all the things that I never really thought about. Everyone always told me lifestyle change was the only way to sustain a weight loss. And I was like, yeah, you don't understand what I'm dealing with. I just need to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds really quickly so I can go on vacation and fit in my pants. So it was never really, I didn't really understand what meant lifestyle change. But when I saw a successful guy who I respected, that John was a Wall Street guy, and I respected him. And when I saw his frame of reference, I was able to see myself in him. I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it. John lost 220 pounds and kept it off for 10 years. So for me, I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. And that led me on to the path where I am now. 7 years later, I kept, 130 plus pounds I lost and feeling amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Are you in the National Weight Control Registry yet? Because they track people that have kept it off, and they seem to have certain characteristics in common. Because as you know, most people can lose weight with any kind of diet, but most people don't keep it off. So congratulations, Mazel Tov, not only on losing it, but keeping it off. Do you happen to have a photo handy of what you look like, just so that you can show?
Yeah, I think I'm pulling up my phone.
Okay, well, I ask my next question, maybe you can find one, but we can find it. Once they register for the summit, they'll see an interview from.
Exactly, you'll see an interview and you'll see photos.
We think, well, I don't know if we think, but I've always thought that if a guy is overweight or obese, it's easier, but it really isn't, because you were bullied. First of all, why is it even okay to bully anybody for any reason? And I'm so sorry that happened. That must have just been devastating for you.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty. I never really liked getting bullied, and I couldn't. As a kid, you don't really understand why people are being mean to you, right? You're just thinking like everything is good, and all of a sudden something's wrong with you, and it's just it's a really terrible feeling. I remember thinking to myself, it was because of the weight. When really, kids are kids. It's less to do with my weight and more to do with just kids having their own problems, Here's a photo I found of me.
Wow. Oh my God. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this is too personal, you don't have to answer, but I get asked this a lot. Did you have to get any of the excess skin removed?
No, I haven't got any skin removed. No.
Wow.
I think about it sometimes. It's not as bad as I would have thought. And I struggle with this a lot. It's like I've worked so hard to accept myself the way I am, and really, embrace my life, right? And love myself. And it's like doing the skin surgery. Is that the opposite of that, or is that, am I being like superficial by doing it? And I'm not quite sure. So I've been thinking a lot about that.
Right. At one time, how much weight did you lose, and how long did it take you to do it?
Yeah, so I lost 130 pounds total. I lost 100 pounds in the first year and a half, 2 years. And then the last 30, probably over the last 2 years, just continuing to slowly make progress and tighten up my eating. It's like, once you're on the right track, you know this from your own experience, once you're on the right track, you create momentum. And then as soon as you hit a plateau and you feel like you can do a little better, you change it up a bit and you start doing something a little bit differently. And I think that's really powerful.
Wow. Other than the obesity, did you have any health conditions?
That's a great question. I had eczema. I don't know if you consider that a health condition, but I had eczema growing up. Apart from all the gluten I was eating and all the wheat and just like the oats and all the milk, and I just ate a lot of cereal milk, and I think that kind of food really caused my skin to just break out completely. Yeah, no, nothing else. Just overweight.
Yeah. How has your mom taken your transformation? Did it inspire her at all to make any changes in her health?
Yeah, my mom actually did gastric bypass surgery a little while ago, and she lost like 200 pounds, and 250 on the gastric bypass surgery, and then I ended up gaining back 100. And then after I lost all the weight that I lost, I helped her. My whole spiel is it's about creating positive habits in your life, right? If you can create positive habits in your life, essentially they work for you. So somebody who wants to lose weight, it's really hard to accept it as a reality, because you're not really thinking that, you're not really thinking that positive habits are going to get the results you want. You're really thinking you just need to lose weight or stop eating so much. And reality is, long-term habits work for you. And I think it's really important to think that through, because if you want to maintain weight long-term, you got to actually change the habits that are keeping you doing what you're doing,
Yeah, and I noticed one of the experts that you're interviewing for your summit is James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, and he really is an expert on changing habits.
James Clear is an expert at changing habits, that's for sure. I was just talking to a friend about him this morning. He had this idea. He talks about that our brain is just we have there's a set of rules that go on in our brain, right? Like, thirsty, drink water. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth. Like, there's all these set of scripts that our mind has. And with food and emotion, it's really interesting when you think about it. But food and emotion, it's kind of the same thing, right? Feel sad, eat cookie. Like that just turns into the script. And it's really interesting when you start thinking about what the script actually is for the things that you want and how to create new scripts. And that's what it's really about, when you can take your mind and just create new scripts that work for you, as opposed to just being responsive to the way the emotions are coming up and what that actually means.
We both know Rich Roll. You had mentioned to me you had just met him in Malibu, and I interviewed him, and he talks about how he had this staircase moment where he, as a middle-aged man, could not walk up the steps. Did you have one of those staircase moments where you finally said, I'm just not going to live like this anymore?
Yeah, that moment in the mirror when I was really heavy, I was like, I'm not going to do this. Like, there's no way I'm going to continue my life and just live in a way which feels shameful and embarrassing.
What percentage did diet play in your transformation, and what part exercise? Because I've interviewed so many people that say that it's really what you put in your mouth that at the end of the day is going to make the biggest difference, not so much how much you move.
Yeah, I think 90% of it's what you eat, right? I think exercise really helps you make better food choices, right? Exercise helps you make better food choices, but really it's about what you eat. So you kind of need them both, but I don't really think, when people think about exercise, they think about grueling exercise. You need to do something for a long period of time. You need to work really hard. And the truth of the matter is, for exercise, you need to do something very light. Going for a walk every day for 10 minutes is better than going for a run once or twice a week. Doing something every single day and committing to it and sticking to your commitments and forcing yourself to stick to your commitments. Figure out a way to force yourself to stick to your commitments. That's when you're really going to see the needle move. And I think that's what's really important to think about. It's about the little things that we do every day, right? You say if you change the things you're doing today and you take a very small step in the right direction, in a year, you're going to be in a completely different place than if you just try to do an extreme workout and try to do something that's not sustainable.
Right, absolutely. So what have your friends and family said about your transformation?
Great question. Not one I've gotten asked before. What do my friends and family say? Everyone's always giving me compliments. I mean, I have 5 sisters and 1 brother. I've been lucky enough to be able to help them and support them on their journeys. And I've been able to, Yeah, I mean, everyone's just really happy for me that I've gained control of this domain. Everyone, they know I struggle a lot because of it, obviously. So
I didn't realize you had so many siblings. Were your siblings also overweight, or was it just you and mom?
it was mostly me and mom. I have a couple of sisters that struggle, but they're not necessarily like really overweight,
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
powerful.
So you're on a mission now.
I'm on a mission to spread the word, and I think like my mission is very much about how do we lose weight and keep it off? Because we all know most people gain their weight back and more, right? So how do we lose weight and keep it off? And I think that's the thing that we're all trying to figure out. And I'm not claiming that I know the answers, but I am saying that people who've done it know something that people who are selling a diet don't. And my mission is to bring people together who've actually done the work. So people who are struggling, feeling alone and feeling like a failure can see their stories and learn from them, kind of like you. Like, I told you as soon as I interviewed you for the summit, the Reclaim Your Body Summit, I showed my mom the interviews as they're going on, so she loves to see them. So it's emailing me for new interviews. So I sent her your copy, and immediately she ordered your book. She saw herself in your story and resonated with it. And like, even though I've told her half the things that you said in the, you spoke about in the interview, hearing it from you was different than hearing it from me, because I'm a guy, I'm 33 years old, and you're closer to her age, and she can see you because you're a woman, and like she has all these other points of reference. So a story is so powerful. So when we meet people like us who are struggling, who have overcome it, it gives us a sense of hope. So my whole thing about the summit was, how do we create a community of people who give a shit and will inspire other people, but they've done the work themselves? They're not somebody who's selling you a program they haven't done. They're not trying to make money off you, off your biggest vulnerability. They're somebody who cares about what you're going through because they know what it's like to try every diet and feel like a failure and you overcome it. And seeing their stories, different stories resonate with different people.
And I agree with you, because so many people take weight loss advice from these skinny white doctors that have never themselves ever been overweight for a day. And I think, as you say, to find people that not only have lost weight, but that have successfully kept it off, like yourself.
Totally. And I think it's really important to think about. It's like, when you pick a mentor, who are you picking for your mentor? If you're a coach, you're picking for a coach. You want to pick somebody who's done the work. You wouldn't pick a doctor that hasn't been able to, hasn't gone to school. So it's like you're following a diet of somebody who hasn't actually proven that it works.
Yep, I agree. So has it been hard maintaining your weight loss, or have you had a few stumbles or slips or relapses along the way? And if so, how have you dealt with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a constant work. There's no free days. And it takes a lot of planning, preparation's key. But my baseline is so high that my mess ups are like one too many fruits or too many nuts or something like that, because I have such a good handle on the way I eat. And when I do mess up, it's usually on something that's like totally normal, like still super healthy. But my benchmark for what I tolerate is so high. And it's not because I hold myself to high standards or I have like these crazy ideas of the way I want to be. It's more about I figured out a way that makes me feel good. And my benchmark right now, I want to feel my best. And if I can feel my best, I'm happy. So I created a set of rules that work for me, that keep me on track at all times. And if I mess up any of those rules, I have a consequence I need to pay.
Are these rules you're able to share, or can you give any tips and tricks to our viewers on how they might start their weight loss journey?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Oh, I was saying, are those rules something you can share with our viewers, or other tips and tricks to help them get started on their journey towards weight loss and weight maintenance?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you're the pro, so I mean, I'm sure you can share a couple of things to that effect as well. But from the way I look at it is, I set up a clear set, a framework of rules that I'm allowed. So, for example, I'm allowed 24 almonds a day, 1 serving of almonds a day. not 25, not 26, 24. And to me, that I have a lot of integrity in that. When I eat 24 almonds, it's a ritual. I enjoy them. You know, they're not something I'm going to sit there snacking on all day. And it makes me feel good to have some balance. Otherwise, I'm going to have however many I want. I'm not a guy that's going to have you know, if they tell me I can eat as many almonds as I want, I'm going to be eating them all day long. You know, I have that addictive personality. So that's one thing. Next thing is I have protein, a lot of protein with every single meal. But if I want to not have protein by a meal, I can have pumpkin seeds instead, because pumpkin seeds have a lot of protein. But I can't have pumpkin seeds and protein at the same meal. So that's just like an extra for no reason. I only have 2 fruits a week. I know this is not something that probably aligns with you, the way you eat, but for me, fruits and the sugar just make me crazy. So for me, I created this whole thing. Like Mondays and Fridays are great days. Beginning and the end of the week, I have a container of blueberries or raspberries, whatever I want. Switch it up, no problem. But that's my fruit. That's I get my antioxidants and just that my fruit kick. And there's no sugar rush with that either, because it's just like it's, you know, they're low glycemic fruits. Then I have these rules sound a little crazy to somebody who thinks, you know, stuff is healthy, and I agree. Like I would never start somebody off with these types of rules. And this is after 7 years of refining it and refining it and refining it. 1 sweet potato every 2 weeks. I love sweet potatoes, and I can eat them. And, you know, a year ago I was eating them twice a day, but now I have it once every 2 weeks, because so you get the sweet potato, you don't need the sweet potato, but you have it, you know, often enough that you feel good about it. And all these rules are in place to make me feel proud. You know, if I have 2 sweet potatoes at lunch, I'm not going to feel great in my body. So I created these rules with my coach to help me be most efficient as possible. Those are some of the crazier rules. You know, and I think it all boils down to preparation. Just always thinking about the day before it starts, where you're going to get your food from, where you're eating your meals, you know, is the grocery store open, that type of thing. And once you have that dialed in, it's quite easy.
Do you do food prep for the week? Do you do any kind of batch cooking so that your food is always ready?
Depends what I have going on in my life. Right now, with the summit, things have been really crazy. So I have a Whole Foods around the corner for me, and then a salad place on the block, and that's basically where I've been, living off the last little while. But generally, I like to prepare for at least 1 day at a time. I'm not somebody that's a cook. I'm not doing meal prep. Also, my schedule is very relaxed in terms of I make my own schedule. So I don't need to. I can cook in between sessions, in between meetings. Like I just allot an hour and a half for each meal, and I always have my fridge is always full of vegetables and protein. So it's like it's really easy to do. And what happens is when you have such a good framework and a tight framework like this, what's really interesting is you're able to really hone in on what's coming up for you. So, for example, if I only allow myself to eat 3 meals a day, right? Then it's about if I'm feeling like I want to eat like lunch after lunch, you know, even though it's healthy, now I'm forced to think about why I want to do that, and I'm forced to feel the emotions that are coming up for me and process that, as opposed to before just numbing it with food. Before I went through a period where I was numbing a lot of emotions with like cucumbers and peppers, and it sounds really healthy. And then most people are gonna be like, "You're crazy. You're just so hard on yourself." And I'm like, "No, I know I'm feeling anxious, and I'm just eating 3 English cucumbers to numb whatever feeling that is. So instead of eating 6 donuts, I'm eating 6 cucumbers." Really, there's a difference in the way the chemicals make me feel, but still, I'm feeling bloated and stuffed. So that same sensation comes up.
All right. So how did you learn to manage the emotional eating? What kind of work did you do?
Well, I've done a ton of work. So there's not like a short answer there. I mean, I believe meditation and mindfulness is a really big, powerful tool. I've meditated for 5 or 6 years now. I learned to practice Vipassana, which is like a certain type of meditation, which I practice every day. Journaling has been really helpful as well. Visualization, like visualizing the way I want to feel and the way I want to be in my body. That practice has really helped as well. You know, drinking lots of water. Yeah, these are all great practices that I really benefit from.
Are there any foods that that are not on your plan that you're completely abstinent from?
Anything processed, for one.
Great.
Anything processed, for one. And my whole plan is designed, like this whole strategy is very simple. It's like you can actually choose anything you want in life, as long as it's planned, right? So here's the deal, right? If we listen to our mind's cravings, essentially, anytime our mind feels stressed out, we're gonna want to eat something that our mind is telling us to eat. But if you actually consciously plan what you want to eat, so let's say I was someone who couldn't live without pizza, and I want a pizza once a week. If I plan every Sunday I'm going to have one slice of pizza, no matter how addictive it is or how bad for it, how unhealthy it is for me, if I'm going to have one slice of pizza every Sunday, then that's okay. Problem is, when your mind is managing you, then you don't have the freedom to actually, make free will choices if you're listening to it. So you want to be managing your mind. That's why the rules work so much. So it's really less about what I have in my rules. My rules that I created around food is aligned with the way I want to live. But if Chef AJ, if you wanted to eat, what's your favorite food, Chef AJ? What do you
sweet, the one that you limit, sweet potatoes. You say you eat 2 a week. I eat 2 a day.
Japanese or regular?
The henna yam or the Japanese are my favorite.
I love the Japanese sweet potato.
Yeah.
I'll have to, one day I'll have to make them for me because I'm sure you got a great recipe.
So I just know that if we're going to ever eat together, it's got to be on your sweet potato day.
Exactly. Every other week on Sunday. So.
Absolutely. Mordechai, I was wondering, like for myself, I've been, I was either overweight or obese for over 50 years, and I've been slender now for close to 7. And people that meet me, they don't say anything about my appearance, good or bad. I mean, they may, but people that knew me heavy, it's like, oh, you're too thin, you're anorexic, you don't look good. Is that just a girl thing, or did you have people that said to you now, oh, you're too thin, you don't look good?
There was only, well, first of all, people are lying. I think you look beautiful.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Ignore them. Well, from my perspective, I think the only time people have ever told me that was when I was on a diet. So over the last 5-6 years, I've been done dieting, maybe even 7 years by now. So no, the answer to the question is no, people haven't really told me that. There was once when I did a 60-day juice cleanse. After I watched the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead by Joe Cross. I did a juice cleanse, and I remember not quite looking or feeling very good. I got very skinny very quickly, and I gained most of the weight back anyways, but I remember not feeling very good. Yeah.
Wow. So what gave you the idea for the summit? And tell us a little bit about the summit. Yeah, so the summit's all about bringing people together who care about this cause, who want to make an impact on other people's lives. But everyone in the summit, aside from genuinely caring, has been impacted one way or another by obesity or weight or body shame or something along those lines. The reason I created the summit is because I care about harnessing the 5%. 5% of people who actually lost weight and kept it off. And I feel like the summit is a great way to bring all those folks together, because when I was struggling, there was nowhere to turn to. When I was struggling, there was nowhere to turn to where I can see stories of people who actually overcome their weight and learn from them. I can't believe that I had access to that type of information when I was really struggling. So I want to make these stories much more available and free for people who are struggling with their weight. Therefore, they can get help if they're feeling lonely or isolated, and have people they can look up to and count on to support them. Wow. Tell us about some of the speakers, perhaps. I keep posting links if you want to register for free. And my interview can be seen immediately, guys, by the way. If you register, you don't have to wait until May 6th. Yeah, Chef AJ is one of the featured experts. And some of our guests include, well, Chef AJ, obviously. And we have a few doctors that you may know, like Dr. Dean Ornish, Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. David Perlmutter. Some of the biggest, most popular names in functional medicine. And then on top of that, we have at least 15 to 18 people who have gone through a weight loss transformation and have kept weight off. So that's what I'm really excited about. I mean, doctors are great, but if doctors haven't lost weight, it's not as exciting to me personally. So, I'm really excited about the folks some of the folks' stories are just so inspiring. It's like you just don't want to. You don't want to stop listening to that. Do you feel that very confident now, or do you ever have this little voice in the back of your head that worries, oh my gosh, I could gain the weight back? I don't. As time goes on, that voice, I think there's always a little bit of doubt, but not
not anything significant that scares me. And I think over the last year, it's when I've really felt that, okay, you know, this weight is off for good. Like, this weight is not coming back. And I've only felt that way, I think, because of this mechanism and this framework that I've really been living by, that I can say confidently, I'm not just a slave to my mind and its thoughts and emotions. I actually am in a place where I have will, and I can decide whether to listen to those thoughts and emotions or not.
Wow. So we all know how to lose weight. Most people have, but most people don't maintain it. What do you think the difference is with weight maintenance? What is the secret to weight maintenance as opposed to weight loss?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. You know, weight maintenance is actually quite harder than weight loss. The weight loss, you're getting so much validation and excitement and compliment from other people around you. It's really easy to continue to lose weight because you're getting people are saying, "Oh wow, you look so good, Mordechai, you look so good. You know, Shaved, you look so good. You look so good. What are you doing? What are you doing?" You're running that high, which is a fun motivator. And as soon as it all stops, it's like, okay, now I need to continue doing the work. Otherwise, you can put the weight back on. So really, you got to focus more on the maintenance, which, you know, is good, but it's, like I said, it's work. It's work, and it's consistency. It's really doubling down on the actions that you take and consistency, and making sure you prep, and all the life situations that come up and the travel that comes up and all the things that are coming up in your life. You actually prepare that you're prepared for them, that you don't, you know, fall off the wagon when you're traveling around or doing something, you know.
That, you know, I've interviewed some people like yourself, like Adam Sood, or other people that, you know, Josh Lajani, that have had extraordinary weight loss stories as gentlemen, and they all say the same thing, that preparation trumps motivation.
Sure does, Chef AJ. Preparation is key. Without preparing, you can't accomplish it at all. And it's a sad reality. But if you're not playing offense, you're playing defense.
So, are you going to write a book about your incredible journey?
You know, I've thought about writing a book, and I think it's more than a book about my own incredible journey. I think it's just like a general book about what I believe around weight loss and weight support and sustainable weight loss and everything else. It's something I'm truly passionate about, and I'm excited to share that, yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, you know, it almost, you know, people are asking about your diet and this and that, but the thing is, it almost doesn't matter, because what I'm learning is that people that are successful, like you say, you have your rules, I have my rules, and that we all adhere to them, and we don't break them.
Well, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Are you saying that everyone has different rules?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that people lose weight through a variety of methods. And it's not like there's one rule. It's just that those of us that are successful have our rules, have things that we consider non-negotiable, things we do and things that we don't do, and that we do these every day. And I feel that's why we're successful. It's not that we all have the same rules or even the same diet, but those that are successful with weight management have constructed their own rules, their own playbook, and they live by this book. And they don't say, well, you know what, it's Thanksgiving, so I'm going to throw the rule book away.
100%. I think you need to have your own rules. My rules are for me. You know, I'm not saying that you should eat one sweet potato every 2 weeks. That's not for you. You don't need to. Maybe you're fine the way you are. You know, for me, I can still lose, you know, maybe 10, 20 pounds. And I think that sweet potato just slows me down. There's no reason for it. And I'm super feel good and I'm super happy without it. So why do I need it? You know, so I think it's a case-to-case basis. And I think the longer you do this, the more in tune you get with your body, and the more you can listen to what your body's intelligence is telling you. And I think when as soon as you do that, you start tapping into something a lot deeper than all of us.
Absolutely. Carolyn wants to know if you ever used fasting as part of your weight loss journey.
That's a great question. I have used intermittent fasting. I used to do 16 hours off and 8 hours on. So I would fast for 16 hours a day.
Right.
I stopped doing it about 6 months ago. The winter came. I started like eating in the morning, but just listening to my body, you know, it's like it worked for a while and I did it, but you know, I like that. Then I started loving my almonds when I would wake up. So almonds and coffee is my go-to.
Right. Are you somebody that likes to eat regular meals, or do you just like listen to your body and that, well, you eat when you're hungry, or do you prefer to have scheduled meal times or set meal times?
I like scheduled meal times. I like knowing breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, dinner at 5.
Nice. Yeah. That's so funny, because the place that I sometimes work, which is a fasting center called True North, that's basically the hours that they eat. And so it does give people a little bit of an intermittent fasting window, you know, to the next day.
Sure.
Cool. So what next is on the horizon for you? I know you're pretty busy now doing this summit, but any other plans for?
Yeah, just a summit, and I'm working on a program for just continuing to spread the word for people that are struggling. You know, me and you share a very similar mission. We both want to help people that are struggling with their weight because we just know how painful it is. And when I think when you come to the other side of it, you realize that there's so much power in being able to share these messages. So I'm just really excited to continue spreading the message. You know, hopefully one day I'll be on big stages like you,
Right.
and be famous like Chef AJ. That's my main goal.
And then hopefully I'll be rich like you one day. Yeah, that's so
funny.
I'm just kidding. Well, wait, but you got to fast on Yom Kippur, right? With a name like Mordechai, I bet you fast on Yom Kippur.
Of course, I do.
Absolutely.
I fast on Yom Kippur, and that's fancy only one day a year.
Absolutely, but it's really though it's you get to eat at night, so it's not so bad. It's
you don't eat, but you don't eat the night before, so it's kind of 24 hours.
Yeah, it's about 24 hours.
Are you fasting on Yom Kippur?
I'm sorry, what?
You fast on Yom Kippur?
I did when I was younger, but you know, I'm going to be honest. As I got older, I haven't. I'm not a very observant tribe member anymore. But maybe this year I will. Maybe I will revisit that. You know.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, so thank you so much for, you know, sharing your story. Is there anything else you want to tell people other than to please sign up for the summit because it's free and it's incredible? And again, you know, you say Dean Ornish, I'm there. You know, I could talk to that guy forever, and I love to listen to him because he's just, you know, he's just great.
He's an incredible man. I'm really excited about all the folks that we have in the summit. I think it's going to be an epic summit, just because the people that are showing up for it are just powerful, transformed humans that really care. And I think it's just going to be a great group of people. And I'm just excited what's going to come after the summit, what happens next, is that, you know, what kind of partnerships and collaborations and more of this great work that we're also passionate about. So stay tuned. Check out reclaimyourbodysummit.com if you want to sign up. Like Chef A just said, it's free for 24 hours. Catch them while they're hot. And yeah, excited to see you there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's just been great finding out more about your story. And if you sign up for the summit, you have a great little video welcoming people that tells a little bit about your transformation. And even I think one of the bonuses, they get a little book that you wrote, like a little ebook.
That's right. That's right. You get a free ebook with lots of beginning tools to help you on the journey.
Yep, I think it's called the reverse diet. I haven't read it. I downloaded it.
But yeah, the reverse approach.
The reverse approach. Great. Well, thank you so much, Mordechai. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Healthy Living Live. I'm Chef AJ. I make healthy, taste delicious, and please sign up for the Reclaim Your Body Summit right now. It's free, and you will love it. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.